And welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Also, check out Coach B at Blue DVL21 on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. The Trojans, in the off season, getting ready for spring camp, all those things like that. So we'll do a little preview here of the running back room. I think the running back room is diverse. It could be special. I think they're just you saw a little bit of it against Texas A&M. I think they can do a lot of different things here, and I think this is going to be a real test for Lincoln Riley because is he going to? The biggest question people keep asking is he going to run the football enough? And he has. This is probably the best group of running backs in the whole tenure that he's had. Just a really solid group. I would say for Woody Marks, I'm just a great year. I wish Woody Marks was a Trojan for a little bit longer. But he had a great career. That 1 year that he had with SC, and I wish him the best in the NFL. He's a guy who was leaving the program to go for greener pastures in the National Football League, and I will hope and wish him the best as far as that goes. But let's start off with Brian Jackson. He had a really good bowl game against Texas A&M. He's that big bruising back who, if the offensive line is able to now, if the offensive line can able to just get those initial blocks and give him the ability to get to the second level, that's where he's going to be. He's just going to be a problem. I mean, he's just going to be a problem. He is just a big, strong. I know. People want to say, hey, start because he wears number 21 and he kind of has that look of a Lendell White. He's not Lendell White, but he can be if he's Lendell White light, if you will. That would really help USC. He is he's just a guy who can just really kind of take over a game in the second half, especially. If this is a time where USC lost so many games in the fourth quarter, just not running the football and just not being, and not being able to sustain things. A lot of times running the pass plays were, just the priority in those moments and not the run game. I think hopefully this year will be a little bit different where they, add like, 3 to 5 more rushes a game. I think USC can churn out some victories here in the Big Ten, but Jackson's probably the starter, and he has that. He is the way he's working out. He looks great in his offseason workout program. I think he just put something. He just put something on um whether it was IG or Twitter, showing what his ability, showing his workouts, whatever. He just looks like he looks fluid. I mean, he's a great athlete. So all the guys have who when they're working out and doing things that we can't do, they all look really good in those in those workouts. But he's definitely the guy who I would say it could really be the game wrecker in a sense where it's going to be difficult to bring him down, tackle him in the fourth quarter of these games. Like it's just going to be he's going to be a problem in that way for USC. One of the guys who I really like is Eli Sanders. Eli Sanders is just he has he has that ability to go 0 to 60 and take it to the house at any moment. His abilities is just he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run. He can run it, traditionally. But the thing about it is when you get the ball to Eli Sanders, if you are a defender and you take one false step, he is going to the house. And absolutely, I mean, you could. I mean, I think USC could probably even do things where they keep like a guy like Brian Jackson and Eli Sanders on the field at the same time and just move him around. You can do reverses with him. You can do you can just hand it off to him. You can do sweeps. You can do toss plays with him. I mean, he can do so many different things for this team, and I think he's a guy who gives you that ability. Gives you that um, that game wrecking. hey, it's 17-17, or USC's up by 3, and then they just a simple slow screen, that Lincoln Riley slow screen play could just go for 60-70 yards. And then next thing you know, it's just like, and then they know he just kind of brings, kind of just, the Coliseum crowd goes going nuts because his ability to just, just change the game with his tremendous speed can really wreak havoc on defenses. And you saw it last year at New Mexico. So he's a great addition to this mix here. How many carries he gets, we'll have to see. But I do think he has that ability to kind of just take games over. And for a lot of we'll go through all these position groups here, but I think the running back room it could be the best room. It really could be the best room for SC here going forward in the season because they have such variety and just depth here that can really wreak havoc for teams. So in the Lincoln Riley era, he has kind of just went with two guys. So a third guy might be tough, but everything, competition is huge. So you want to be able to keep as much competition as humanly possible. In all position groups, and I think they're going to have a lot here. And it's going to be see how it'd be interesting to see how many carries that they that he can Lincoln Riley can spread out with all these different backs. Wayman Jr. Wayman Jordan. He is a JUCO transfer, and he basically won the JUCO equivalent to the Heisman. He was one of the top five guys as far as JUCO players coming in, and USC went out all out to go get him. He's probably the most complete back of the group. I think he's the one guy who I think people don't haven't seen yet, obviously because unless you're really traveling around the JUCO circuit, you haven't seen him play. So people are going to be really excited to see what he can do. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he is a guy who can, just that in between the tackles, bowling ball kind of guy who can just also has the ability to break that thing outside. I think the one thing missing from this group might be the like when you have a guy like Woody Marks who just is a natural pass catcher, a guy who can do so much in the pass game. That's gonna be the question. Like can these guys pick up the slack as far as in the passing game goes? Because Lincoln Riley loves his screens to running backs. It's just an easy way to get a big gain in some of these games. But Wayman Jr., I keep saying why I keep calling him Junior, but Wayman Jordan is a guy who I think he was the best JUCO running back. That's a guy who every year they brought in a pretty good running back from another team. This year it's going to be Sanders and Jordan. And I think Jordan is going to be a guy who is going to be people are going to love his ability to get the ball down the field and has that burst to take it to the house if you have to. If he and like all the guys who kind of break this stuff down and talk about running backs and talks about prospects in college football, they all love this pickup, and I think I'm excited for this pickup too. And obviously the caveats are who's gonna pass protect the best, because if you can't pass protect, then you're not gonna be on the field. And who also a big differentiator could be who's the best pass catcher, because we haven't seen Sanders in this offense, we haven't seen Jordan in this offense, we've seen Brian Jackson a little bit, but no matter who it was, whether it was Die, whether it was uh Woody Marks, those guys can catch the ball out of the backfield, and it's a big part of a quarterback's progression to be able to have the ability to, if everything down the field is not open to Jacoby Lane, something's not open to Makai Lemon, then yeah, you want to be able to dump it down to the running back to get 4 or 5 yards to keep the change moving, to stay on schedule in that Lincoln Riley offense. So this is, like I said, this is going to be Jackson, Sanders, Jordan, and then also there's Peterson, Amari Peterson. So I don't know. That's good. He might be the odd man out, but next thing you know, you blink and a couple guys go down, and he's gonna be called upon. So does he? I mean, I think we'll see where he's gonna be during spring ball. Like, does he actually? Does he transfer out? Does he stay? all those things like that. But it would be nice if USC could um, bring every could keep these guys in full and have the four running backs here. It gives them, like I said, the versatility. Also gives them something here where they can the versatility and also the depth just in case for injury, because you never know. Injury for USC, it seems like it happens all the time. As far as like one position group, one position group always ends up getting attacked, and then you hope it's not you hope it's not the running back room, but it does say this is going to be excuse me. So this has the opportunity to be a real special group for Lincoln Riley. It really does, and I think everybody's really excited about this part of it. And can Lincoln, with the guys who Chad Bowden has brought in, can he just can he bring more balance to this offense? I think if they can bring just a little bit more balance, it's a passing, just like college football is a passing league, just like NFL football is. But if they can bring a little bit more balance to this offense, um, then I really feel like they could really take off. One thing I'll say about the running, listen, like don't get if they get stuffed sometimes on the run game, don't get all crazy about it. Trojan fans, like you have to take those, those 3 and 4 yard runs as much as you have to kind of set up and get the big time, runs for that go for 15, 20, 30, and maybe even 60 yards, if you will. So I would definitely tune in to this group, because it's going to be one of the best groups you can ever the best group that the USC has on as far as position groups go. Really excited to see what the Trojans do in the run game this year, coming up to help Jaden Mayava move the football here. All right, Student Body Right, USC podcast. Thank you for joining us, but don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. We'll see you next time, and I think next time we'll jump into the offensive line, and because that's an integral part of what USC is going to do. They had some new additions here with General Reed and also DJ Wingfield. So you want to check out that next show as well too. All right, so everybody, right, USC podcast. Fight on, folks.
We'll be right back.